everyone. So I was finally able to play the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I did so on PlayStation 5. I took my time going through this one. It took me about 12 hours to go through for the first time, and then my second playthrough spent a lot more time, and it took me about 15 hours to try to get all the collectibles and whatnot. Really enjoyed doing this one. So, of course, again, PS5, played on the PlayStation controller. So when I talk about controls, anything like that, that's what I'm going to be referencing within it. And of course, I loved Resident Evil 4. It is my favorite Resident Evil game. Village comes close in a lot of ways, but I love Resident Evil 4. But I did really think that this game really needed the facelift in a lot of ways. So yes, without further ado, let me talk about the remake for Resident Evil 4, dive into it, and yeah, just here's my review. Let's get into it. So of course, this is a remake of the original 2005 Resident Evil 4 game, where you play as Leon S. Kennedy, who must save Ashley Graham, the president's daughter of the United States. And you have to rescue her from the mysterious Los Illuminados cult. And yeah, the remake just basically built upon the original game with a bit of an updated plot, new visuals, characters, cast, and much improved gameplay. So again, too, there are some new cutscenes that they put within this game that, again, too, a lot of the times really just updates the graphics on it, and it looks absolutely fantastic and really good, while still keeping into that style that the original game went for. But a lot of the new cutscenes add a lot of just more depth and a lot more story and lore to the just original cult that you face off against within this game. Just found there's a lot more story and a lot more just interesting things that they were able to do within it. I don't want to get into it too much for spoiler's sake, but a lot of what this game did is, of course, Resident Evil 4 is a damn near flawless game, and it just tweaked and perfected a lot of things, most everything really, that the original game put out to us. It was really similar to the Dead Space remake, where that game kind of showed how remakes need to be done. This follows the exact same suit and just gives the game a much needed facelift in every single aspect, and just does so absolutely flawlessly, and really brings it into the new generation of games and makes it, again, to feel like a brand new game a lot of times when you play it. So again, it features the over the shoulder third person gameplay really similar to the original, but it draws aspects from the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, where it allows you to, well, again, to just really shakes up the gameplay in a way that you can actually move when you're aiming down your sights, when you're shooting and whatnot. That's one of the biggest issues, where there's no longer that really clunky, in the original game, clunky, like Leon could barely make it around most corners. You had to stop while you shot most of the time, or your shots just weren't going to land or everywhere you wanted them to go. The gameplay is very smooth out, and in a lot of ways the gunplay can kind of feel a little similar to some of the pistol combat you'll find in the Gears of War games in a lot of ways, and of course Resident Evil 2 and 3. If you liked the combat in those games, this one builds upon that even more and makes it even better than it was in those games in a lot of ways. A lot of it is because just through the massive arsenal that Leon has in his disposal, and a lot of the new weapons that they add within this game. One of the main ones being your knife, where of course in the original game it was just, it had absolutely no durability, nothing like that. In this game, you can use your knife to parry attacks, which is definitely the biggest shakeup within this game, where enemy goes to attack you again through their little prompt, and you can just hit the left bumper, and Leon will basically be able to parry, knock the character back, and you can go in for also two brand new added melee combats, where you can go up and basically like roundhouse kick, or essentially just drop kick enemies to the ground, and you can either use this as a way to kill them or knock them down, get over top of them, and use your knife to just stab them in the head and finish them while they're down. That's one of the biggest changes within this game, and honestly it feels so smooth and so good, and definitely adds to the survival horror elements a lot of the time, where again, so you shoot a character in the kneecap, they stagger, you go and kick them, and sometimes, depending on how powerful your pistol is, that's all that you need to do to knock them down. So really the best thing you can do is, again, to get them staggered, hit them hard with your melee kicks, and the kicks are just absolutely insane, but hit them with the kicks and do a lot of damage and save a lot of ammo that way, because we're getting to survival horror, those elements stick within this game, and there's times where you they throw a lot at you, and if you're not using the red explosive barrels, your grenades, basically your inventory the smartest way, you're going to run out of ammo, and you're going to be stuck again too in a really hard place because your knife can break on you if you use it too much. The one way to repair it is going to the merchant and buying basically he will it's about $1,000 every single time, if not a little bit more, to upgrade to basically fix your knife every single time. So that's definitely something you're really going to want to correct. Collect as much money as you can, sell as many trinkets and stuff as you can, because you're going to need the money to really upgrade your arsenal and get through this in ways. If you're not upgrading your arsenal, you're going to have a really hard time using more ammo and not having enough ammo to deal with how much this game throws at you, how much this remake throws at you, especially within like the last 3-4 levels where it throws everything at you. In a lot of ways, you can collect money is finding treasures and then laying them with gemstones that you'll find throughout the world, or by defeating the bigger, stronger enemies. And you can then lay these gemstones on these treasures like mugs, sphinxes, things like that to make them more valuable for the merchants. And he will buy them off of you for a higher price, and you can use that again to buy new items for him, buy supplies from him, buy upgrades to your weapons from him. And again, too, that's easily the best way to keep upgrading your arsenal. And there's again too, throughout the game, you'll find these little challenges that he sets up for you where they're basically just a gun range, and they have different tiers depending on how good you do, which will give you more coins that you put into a machine, and they'll give you basically discounts off of certain supplies within his store. So it's really good reason to go do these little side games, all these mini games, and just collect as many tokens as you can to save you money in the shop as you go. So again, so in typical Resident Evil fashion, you have a briefcase that'll organize all of your ammo, your supplies, your weapons, and you only have a certain amount of space to work with. You can get case upgrades that'll make it bigger and just to have more space for all of, again, to your items that you carry around with you. But one of the things that it changes is that you can now find crafting supplies within the world, or you could buy them off of the merchants, and you can use this to combine items to, again, too, there's always like the plants, the green, yellow, and red herbs where you can combine them together, but now you can do so with ammo to create more magnum ammo, pistol ammo, basically whatever you need throughout the world. You use that, you mix that with gunpowder in the supplies, and it's definitely very well worth it to make certain that you are using your supplies and your gunpowder to create as much ammo as you can, because a lot of times it can be very scarce or very expensive to buy it. Ashley's AI is definitely a lot better in this game too, where it's a lot less kind of point and click to where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do. The main things that I found was I played this on the normal difficulty, and there's the right stick, so the right directional stick. You can click that and either send Ashley to kind of back off away from you. So if you're being rushed by enemies, you can have her back off and take care of them, make sure she's not too close to you, or you can call her close. So say if you're trying to run away from an enemy and you want her to get close to you, press that stick down, she'll get close and basically stick right behind you the whole time. Her AI still isn't great, so I know I'm definitely one of the Ashley haters in a lot of ways, where I find it to be quite a bit useless, but they did make her a lot more useful in this game and listen to you a lot better. So even though it's still not perfect, it upgrades her in a way that makes it definitely not nearly as annoying in most sections. So again, too, there's not really a whole much more that I can say about this game. It's just, again, too, like with the Dead Space remake, it does what remakes should really do, where it rebuilds it from the ground up, what worked, what needs to be improved upon, and actually makes all these changes instead of, it's not just a slight graphical upgrade, it's a major graphical upgrade, major combat system upgrade, adds more minigames, adds more side quests, adds more dialogue, adds new cutscenes that are absolutely ridiculous, and makes Leon just so over the top, but in ways that are absolutely hilarious. My favorite one is 2 chainsaws will come through the wall, and Leon is definitely a far enough distance where he could have just leaned back like this, but he'll do a backflip in between the 2 chainsaws coming through the wall, things like that are just absolutely hilarious. And again, too, just adding more context to the story in a lot of ways. It's just absolutely fantastic and amazing. And again, too, I love Resident Evil 4, and I think that, again, too, with the Dead Space remake, with the Resident Evil 2 remake, and now with the Resident Evil 4 remake, this is the gold standard for how to do remakes, and that is why I'm giving the Resident Evil 4 remake of 2023 a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. There's nothing more they needed to add. There's nothing more they needed to polish. Everything works so well. Everything looks so well, and everything plays amazingly. It's so fucking great and fantastic. And if you haven't sunk your teeth into Resident Evil 4 before, this is definitely the game to do so and really get you into all of these remakes that they've been making of the Resident Evil games as of the last few years here. So I would recommend, of course, starting from one and working your way up with the remakes, but this just again is the gold standard. And when it comes to Resident Evil third-person games, I do want them all to feel like this. I can't wait for the Resident Evil 5 and 6 remake that I'm certain we're eventually going to get. It just makes me very, very excited to play those ones when they come out because, again, too, they've just absolutely nailed what they want to do from all of these games and how they want them to play. They're absolutely incredible. So if you played the Resident Evil 4 remake, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And of course, if you liked this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And you should check out everything I do on this channel. Links to playing this up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing and turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. If you want to check out the description of this video or my channel bio, there is a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you definitely join me in the amazing community, help make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.